Hello and welcome to the Illuminate podcast. I am Brian M. Truskowski with Illuminate. Today, our guest is Kirk M. Samuels. Kirk is the Intimacy Incubator. He is a gifted speaker and an award-winning member of Toastmasters International. His book, For Your Eyes Only, The Inside Scoop About Men, Porn, and Marriage, reveals to women how her man can become addicted to her. It's fascinating. Kirk is a columnist with the Denver, Colorado Luxury Magazine. He's a featured radio personality on the Real Traci Rock Show and the Corner Café Radio. He's also a board member of Step 7 and an advisory council member of BeMen. In 2019, Kirk founded the nonprofit Heart Freedom Foundation in a further effort to create a more connected world. That's beautiful. Thank you for being with us today, Kirk.
Yes, sir, man. It's happy to be here. I gotta step in with my man BT whenever I can.
Woo-hoo! How have you been? So tell us a little bit more about what you do, Kirk.
Oh man, I have a personal mission statement, and my personal mission statement is: with strength, wisdom, gentleness, and mercy, I co-create a world of intimacy and unconditional connection by teaching and inspiring 1 million men how to live free from internet pornography. My heart's passion is to create intimacy and connection, man. And when I believe when we as men begin to live like that, when we as men to begin to live in a truest form of freedom that we can be in every kind of way, then the world changes, man. It's like tide that comes in and all boats rise. And so I'm just all about that. And it manifests in different ways, and I end up working with a lot of men one-on-one. I end up actually working with women one-on-one too, because quite often women's biggest issue is wounded men or men that have wounded them. And hurt people. So yes. I end up helping a lot of women to help sort out the man landscape in their lives, and what that looks like in relationship and healing and all that kind of stuff as well.
That's great. I just want to reflect on what you just said. It's a saying that I love. I think most people don't understand, maybe superficially, but even deeply. Hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. And it's so potent. I think if people were to actualize this, there would be so much more compassion in the world. Yeah. And that's my belief personally.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I think, when you look at people, normally there are motivations behind everything that people do. When somebody does something, most of the time it doesn't just come from nowhere, unless there's some deep psychosis or something like that. Most of the time it comes from something that was either natured in them or nurtured in them. And there's a why. And when when someone experiences hurt or trauma or abuse or anything along those lines or whatever, a lot of times that comes out of them. That doesn't excuse them. That doesn't, exclude them or anything like that. But at the same time, when we look at people through that lens, man, we can see people differently.
Absolutely. Well, with that may go into the next thing. We're going to go into the first bank of questions. And the first bank of questions are, what are 3 things that you find important that come from your heart that you want the world to know about, that you're not hearing the world discussing? Kind of general rule.
Yeah. So as we're recording this, we're in the middle of the social distancing and, sheltering in place, and we're in the middle of, COVID-19 and that sort of thing. And so a lot of us are experiencing loneliness and isolation. Even the introverts that I know are saying, man, this is difficult. This is tough, right? And so I think a lot of times it's easy for us to want to be upbeat and want to be positive. And, a lot of people that are the change agents, the light bringers in the world, we kind of want to inspire people and encourage people. And I think one of the things that, for one, I think it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to feel isolated. It's okay to feel the feelings that are involved in this whole thing. It's okay to feel that and to go through the valley, because when we go through these valleys, then we're able to experience the mountaintops. And so I think it's okay to, I think we haven't given ourselves permission to feel the feelings that we're all going through. I've heard a lot of people want to talk about, or a lot of people experiencing suicidal thoughts. And I've even known a couple of people that have ended their lives during this whole thing. And we just have to give people permission to feel. So feel the feelings is definitely one, for sure. And I think as we experience this and as we feel the feelings, recognize the things that we're missing. Recognize the things that we're missing, because those are the things that we probably didn't appreciate when we had them. And so, whether it's the freedoms, whether it's shelves full of toilet paper or bleach, or whether it's whatever it is,
Right.
recognize what we're missing today, so that when all of this, when we come through this valley, then we can begin to appreciate things in the future, appreciate those things when we get them back, to just be able to go to the gym, or to go to the movies, or to, if church is your thing, to be able to go to church, or to go to the grocery store and not have to have my face covered, and all those kinds of things. So, recognize what we're missing, and go forward. And then I think three, for the third one, most importantly, in this season, we got to make sure we don't emotionally distance while we socially distance. And what I mean, we can't go completely inside. We can't go into the methodology and the thinking of consumption, whether it's consuming TV or consuming whatever, consuming each other. I work a lot with men that have struggles with consumption, even to the point of addiction in a lot of ways. And one of the ways that I tend to work with a lot of people, or they come across my path, is in the area of pornography. And that's, it's one of those things that it's very easy to go inside. It's very easy to shelter in place inside when we begin to consume things, like, especially consume things that we can develop habits and addictions to. And so we got to be careful to guard that, and to recognize when I'm getting too far in the area of consumption as I'm social distancing, because we can begin to emotionally and even spiritually and socially, soulfully distance as well. So I think that was three things right there. But yeah, those three things I don't think we're talking about, man. And I would love to have out there.
I love that. And especially, like, I've heard we're not social distancing, we're physically distancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the tendency to maybe socially isolate is unhealthy, which is, that's when all the demons and the skeletons come out. And if you haven't done your shadow work, those are going to consume you, right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I'm sure, like you mentioned with your book, I mean, porn is just one of the things that people don't ever, I hear, talking about. So I just want to honor you for, like, being sort of like a way maker or a path shower in talking about that, especially, like, I've heard recently, I mean, I doubt you go into this, but I just read an article where one of the world's largest pedo sex websites was just shut down today. And it's just like, no one's talking about that either. I mean, there's so many subsects of addiction. So thank you for doing that potent work,
Yeah, that affects our relationships. That affects the way we get along. Mind-blowing statistic. In 2016, 4 years ago, in 2016, that year, there was 4.6 billion hours of pornography consumed. 4.6 billion hours equals 524,000 years of pornography consumed in 1 year, 2016, on one website. On one website. That was 4 years ago. What kind of cell phone did you have? What kind of cell phone did you have 4 years ago? And was there social distancing, quarantining, whatever in place for you? No. And so this is affecting the way we see each other. And I don't work out of judgment. I get it.
No, for sure.
To me, I'm not anti-porn. I'm pro-freedom. Like, I'm pro-relationship and connection. And if it brings you away from connection, then I'm against whatever that is. But just to give a scope of the amount that yeah. So we're not talking about that.
Wow, that's a jaw dropper. I mean, this is my fourth or so that I've done. Like, I'm picking my jaw off the floor. So thank you for that, Kirk. And this is what I believe. I feel like we're in this place of transformation globally, and we got to start talking about the hard stuff. Yeah. We're not going to heal ourselves, our shadows, or the planet unless we start having the hard conversations, and that's one of them right there, right?
Yeah, so, absolutely. Wow. And like I said, I don't come from a place of judgment. I was there. I was 30 of the first 40 years of my life, I was addicted to porn. You couldn't have been more addicted than I was. I mean, my life lessons don't come from, degrees and that kind of stuff. I mean, I got a degree, you can see it right there, but, I think a lot of people a lot of people have degrees on the wall, but can't change the temperature in the room, right? And so I come from experience, man. I've been there and done that. So I don't come from judgment, man. I'm not hating the player. I'm hating the game.
Right. Well, I just want to honor you for that. And that's how, as a coach and a teacher, I come from. I teach from experience. I don't teach, I have no papers on the wall behind me, but with that, I mean, like, I teach from personal experience, and I've found that the clients who work with me find more value in that because I have dirt on the street experience, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's not some highfalutin university that tells me that I'm good at something.
Yeah, I'm not telling you what I learned. I'm telling you what I know. Like, I can I could probably, and I have a degree in computer science. That's what that degree is in. So I can tell you how to bury some stuff in your computer where you won't get caught, or it'll be very different. I mean, so I know all that part of the stuff as well. So,
Right.
so yeah, like I said, I don't come from a place of judgment or condemnation or anything like that, man. I'm not critical at all. I
Right.
get it. And like I said, I'm not even anti-porn. I mean, dude, if it makes you the best that you can be, then cool. But from what I found, for most people, it can get to the point where, where it doesn't make you feel the best that you can feel. The shame and the guilt that comes along with it becomes
Sure.
something else you got to medicate. So anyhow, but I think that's something that we are definitely, if you can imagine how much Netflix people are consuming these days, 4 years ago, 4.6 billion hours in one website.
That's appalling in some way. I mean,
uh, yeah.
yeah, we could
That,
talk
that
about this for ages, I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah, and that affects our relationships. That affects the way we get along. That affects the way we see each other. That affects,
oh,
you know,
and I love that you're making that the point. You're
yeah,
not condemning the situation. You're condemning the
mm-mm.
effect of it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, and I've been there. I've wanted to end my life because of it. But yeah, it affects. Like I said, I have 3 daughters right over my shoulders. I care about them. I don't want any young man or any guy to see them as objects. I don't want my son to see another woman as an object. I don't want any. I mean, I don't want any of my kids objectified. So I'm passionate about that. I'm not critical about the person or the problem. I've been there, done that. But like I said, the separation and the disconnection that it brings, that's the problem that I have.
That's beautiful, and I love that it's coming from your heart, and it's coming from that place. You said your kids behind you on the wall there. I mean, I think it's a beautiful reminder to have that large of an image right in your face.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
great. So are you ready to move on to
Boom,
next? So
rock
next
and roll.
question has a little more levity to it. But
Hmm.
let's say starting tomorrow, you could have friends and family and community over to your house. What are 3 fun things that you would love to do, knowing what you know now, that would be different and unique in those social interactions with people?
I want to play a game of Twister. No, I miss people, dude. I miss people, bro. I mean, like, dude, let's play some. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I don't know if I've ever even played a game of Twister. Anyhow, whatever. That'd be something cool. I definitely want to do some barbecue. I want to put some stuff on the grill. I want to cook some, some meat and some veggies on the fire. I want to have some folks over. I want to play some cards. I want to do some social stuff inside the house. I wouldn't mind somebody helping me paint this wall in my house over here. Um, whatever. But I'm looking forward to some personal human interaction, man. And I'm looking forward to when I can have folks over, man, let's play some music, let's put some food on, let's play some dominoes, let's play some Twister, let's play some whatever. I don't know what it is, man, but I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm looking forward to getting around people.
Nice. I love that. I just want to say, uh, everyone that I've talked to so far is like wanting to give hugs and connect on that level. But I love that you went to the next level, Kirk. Like, no, we're playing Twister, y'all. Like, let's
Dude,
just
we
get
getting
together and
all
throw
we getting
down.
all up in this. We getting all up in here and put your head around here, and yeah, we doing all that, man.
That's
If
great.
you come over my house when this is over, be ready. Make sure you put on some deodorant. Take a shower before you get here. I better take a shower.
There you go. All right. Next question is, what's one message from your heart that you want the world to hear?
Yeah. Unfortunately, this whole thing that we're going through is pushing people apart. It's taking our identity, it's taking our connection. Even when we go out in public, we're encouraged to wear a mask and to cover up who we are and to go inside. And you know, the way you punish hardened criminals in prison is by putting them in isolation. So we got to understand whether you're an introvert or extrovert or whatever vert you are, we are wired for connection as human beings. We're better mentally, physically, spiritually, soulfully, in every kind of way, financially, when we're connected. And so, and so my one takeaway is, let's appreciate the ability that we have to connect, and
Mm,
let's not relish in the opportunities to disconnect going forward, to go to a park and to be social and to have deep relationships in our lives and all that kind of stuff, and to exist on an intimate level with people. Intimacy is huge. Sexuality is just the physical manifestation of intimacy.
right.
Worship is a spiritual manifestation of intimacy. I mean, there are different manifestations of it, but it all comes back to intimacy. And when we get to the point where we're beneath the surface, where I'm able to be vulnerable, where I'm able to trust, where I'm able to have deep connection. That kind of stuff is the core of who we are as people. And when we come out of this, man, I hope we can come out of this with a whole new revelation on how important it is for us to be deeply connected and deeply intimate with one another as human beings.
I love that. That is so well said. You know, I mean, it's just like we're learning. It's through separation you realize the connection that was there, right? And so with that, it's just like, yeah, we really need to find the value in that connection. So
Absolutely.
absolutely. All right. So to start wrapping this thing up, two last things from you is one, how do people find out more about who you are and what you do? And secondly, any sort of like closing statements that you like to make as you
Yeah, first, my website, I'm pretty straightforward. I went to public school, so I like to keep it pretty straightforward. My website is kirkmsamuels.com. M is my middle initial, but kirkmsamuels.com. I'm crazy enough to give you my cell phone number. If anybody's watching this, I don't care. You can call me 720-515-6536. That literally rings this phone number. And so I mean, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. I'm a great listener. You know, I'm not. I really don't have a motive. I'm not trying to necessarily accomplish something when I'm just listening to you. But I'm also available, you know, to help and to connect with whomever you are, wherever you are. I like to be pretty open and transparent with that. I'm pretty transparent with my story. My book is on Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. I'm pretty easy to find. I do a Mad Men of Masculinity on Facebook series, that Facebook page. You know, we call it the Mad Men of Masculinity. We're not mad angry. We're mad crazy about masculinity. Me and a good buddy of mine, and we talk about men stuff. So pretty easy to find. And like I said, I think, you know, I think when we as men, particularly when we as men kind of get our poop in a group, right? When we get our stuff together, then we're able to be the tide that comes in. And our culture needs us as men to get to the place. I mean, women need us, kids need us. You know, I mean, there's so many problems I think we can solve when we just come together. And oh, by the way, we're doing a good job. I think at some point, men are going to begin to outpace women in terms of the heart work that we're doing in our culture. I mean, I really do believe that, man. I see a lot of men doing a lot of good things, and you're one of them, bro. But man, you know, I think this is a great opportunity for us to hit reset on everything we knew as reality going forward. And one of the things that I think are important that we are missing, that we have to learn, is the importance of connection, the importance of reaching out and being in touch with one another, and to grow and to connect. And like I said, especially on an intimate level, even if it's non-sexual intimacy with someone of the same gender. I mean, you guys need guys that have refrigerator rights in their life. You know? You know, it's like, you don't have to ask, you know, you just go in there and get it.
I love that.
So anyhow, I think that's the stuff we have this is a great opportunity. We got to feel the feelings. We got to recognize what we're missing. And then we got to take the opportunity when we come out of this to appreciate those things that we lost during this time period.
Absolutely. And lastly, what is the Uplift Her 36 website?
The uplift is something that there's an uplift him, there's an uplift her. Uplift him is those are kind of initiatives that I began last year. Yeah, of course, for like a lot of people, a lot of things kind of got the brakes put on it, you know, here this year. But those were more teen initiatives. I began to focus more on teens, especially young men. You know, the greatest way to you know, to have a healthy man is to begin working on boys in terms of their sense of identity and their sense of growth and all that kind of stuff. So I begin to focus on that. But yeah, Uplift is one of those things that I began and will continue to work on in the future in terms of the next generation.
That's great. Well, we'll have all this available in the comments below, so you can check out all of Kirk's websites and contact information. So thank you for joining us today, Kirk, on the show. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and you've illuminated so much to us. So thank you all for that. And thank you all for listening. Get out there, make a beautiful and blessed day. Share this message, share this video, share this content. If you know someone that needs to hear it, please share it in any way, shape, or form. So thank you all. Be well. Have a great day.